I'm going to be sharing with you 3 ways that you can sharpen your lawnmower blades. So the first way to sharpen your blades is one of these drill attachments. Now this is just a sharpening stone with a plastic guide that you put into your drill. And this is accessible to most people because of the price, and you already have half of the product that you need. So before sharpening the blades, make sure that the cutting surface is actually worth sharpening. If you've been hitting stones or tree roots, you might have pieces of the cutting surface missing, and if it is like that, you're going to want to get new blades and not bother sharpening these. You can see here I've got a little bit of pitting, but that's not too bad. This is why I like this attachment so much. All you need to do is make sure that your drill is on the drill setting and on the fastest speed set. Use the plastic bit on the back onto the flat surface and allow the angle of the stone to slot on over the cutting surface, and you're just going to move this back and forth. Don't push down too hard as you're going to break the system, so just let it work up and down nice and slow and let the drill do the work, and within a couple of minutes you will have a sharp blade. And just after a couple of minutes, we have a nice sharp cutting edge on this Mower blade here. This tool works really well, and I'd really recommend it if you have a drill. Let's move on to the next way of sharpening our Mower blade. So the next tool we're going to be using is an angle grinder, and I've got a flat disc on here. I find the flat disc works a lot better than the cutting disc. It gives you a little bit more control over the cutting disc. Now, if you don't have an angle grinder, I wouldn't recommend that you go out and buy one just to sharpen your lawnmower blades, but if you do have one and you haven't been using it to sharpen your mower blades, this is a really great way to sharpen them. What you want to do is make a couple of passes, and you're going to find the angle that this blade is at in relation to you and work along that, and that's going to ensure that you keep this angle and you get a nice cutting edge on this edge over here. Now this blade is completely dull, so be careful with this. You are going to have sparks flying everywhere. Just go slow if this is your first time ever using it. I will leave a link to this flat disc and the angle grinder in the description below, so if you do like this method and you do want to go out and buy a grinder, you can go out and buy one for yourself. So using the grinder is just as fast as using the drill attachment. I found that it was a little bit harder to get the angle right, but once you've got the angle going, it's really easy, and it might actually give a better cut than the drill attachment. So let's move on to the third and final way that we're going to be sharpening our mower blades with today. The third and final method that I'm going to be using today is the old school method of a file. I've seen a lot of comments on my previous videos about how to use the drill attachment, sharpening stone, and everyone has recommended a file. So using a file can be quite tricky if you've never used one before, but what you want to do is make passes in the upward direction like this. You want to follow the same angle you've already got on the blade like you've done on the previous two tools, and you'll see here that the file is starting to actually clean up the blade here. Now that doesn't mean it's sharp. Now you don't want to come down, because what you end up doing is you'll actually end up rounding over, and you don't want to do that because then, well, the blade's not going to be sharp. You're going to end up with a bull nose on the cutting surface here. We have it not too long after starting with the file, I actually have a sharp blade. Well, I've been proven wrong, and the best way to sharpen your mower blades is by file. Now, I never thought that this would be so effective, and it is. It takes a little bit more work, and it takes a little bit longer, but the blades were just as sharp, if not, they're probably better cutting edge than I got with the other two tools. Now, that's not to say the other two are bad methods of sharpening your mower blades. They're really good ways of doing it.